Hello, I'm Stir, and I want to have a conversation with whoever the fuck watches my channel. Uh, a lot of you watching this now will know me as Stir Fry, uh, but there's a possibility that you know me from another community that I'm in, whether it be Quebec, um, APCOG is OP, my Twitch channel, or even as my real name, Matthew. Um, Whatever the fuck you know me as, that's not important right now. Because I want to say something that has been on my mind for well over a year now. Even though a lot of people, particularly in the Geometry Dash community, I should say, already know. Essentially, everyone I've ever spoken to in the community knows already. I don't know exactly who this conversation is for, but even if just one person figures out, well, not figures out, understands fully, I guess is the best way I can say it, then it's a win for me. So, whatever, I'm just going to spill my mind into one very unscripted, very rambly sort of video to essentially let as many of you guys know who don't already know what the fuck is going on. Um, Basically, I've had this conversation with many people in real life already, so it's essentially exactly the same. What the fuck am I saying? Basically, I want to be a female. I was born as male and I decided, you know what, no, I want to be female. And I'll go into a bit of history about how it all started. It all started mid June last year, 2018, where essentially just a spontaneous thought when I woke up was like, do you know what? I want to be female. I feel like I want to be female. I feel like my body is wrong and that it should be more feminine. And at the time, I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna let it play out. It's just one of my weird, fucking weird phases that I go through, and I'm just going to leave it alone, let it play out, and then I'll just become normal again in however long. A week or so, however the fuck long it takes for me to just become my normal self again, and that'll be the end of it. I left it for 6 months, and the inner feelings only developed and got stronger, got harder to ignore, and started playing my mental a lot. Fast forward the clock to 21st December 2018. Um, Essentially, that was the day where something in my head just clicked and decided I can't ignore this anymore. I want to be female and I need to do something about this before it gets worse. That was the day where I came out to the first person online, that was, and shortly after that, I came out to someone on in real life as well. Essentially, just letting people know what the fuck's going on, and that was essentially the first step towards any sort of transition. I guess just telling people this is how I feel, but still, this was very much on the fence. I was still very much undecided about whether or not I want to do a full transition in the first place. Um, Over the next, well, from late December, over the next few months, I started to essentially live a double life in real life, living as fucking disgusting name, living as Matthew at work and at home, uh, whilst online, sort of developing an almost second persona in big inverted quotations, for lack of a better word, essentially living as a different person who is still me, and living as the person who I want to be, who I feel is sort of trapped in this fleshy mess. And most people in Geometry Dash know who that fucking person is, and it's Skylar. That is the name that I have chosen to represent me as a person, I guess. What the fuck am I saying? I don't know. So that was my life for from December up until mid June, whereas coming out to more people, both in real life and online, technically, essentially just living as a female in the Geometry Dash community in particular, but also elsewhere online, and that just essentially played on my mental more because in real life I was still essentially forced to be a boy, act like a boy, speak like a boy, blah blah blah, who cares. Whereas online, in the GD community, elsewhere as well, I could express more of who I wanted to be. And this is sort of a renaissance in my time in the GD community in particular, where I feel so much more comfortable in the community because I can express who I want to be for essentially the first time ever since I first decided that being a girl was an option in mid July. So fast forward to 21st of July. Yes, 21st July 2018. This was a Pride Parade event in my city, and obviously I attended that. Up until that point, I was still very much undecided on whether or not I wanted to do a full transition. To just completely disregard my past self, my past life, my past name, and just adopt everything and be fully reborn as female, whoever the fuck, who cares. My primary goal with attending the event in the first place was just to get some information, just to try and find information of a support group, try and speak to someone who could give me a bit more information on the entire process, whatever the fuck. I was just looking for some more information from something a bit more personal than just fuck off Discord. A bit more information from something a bit more personal than just online forums. My second goal was to decide whether or not I wanted to do that. And when I attended the parade, I did meet a couple of incredible people who, even though I don't know anything about, I don't even know if they themselves are transgender or not because they never specifically said, and I never specifically asked. They did give that sort of impression, so I can only assume that they are, even though they entirely possibly could not be. Um, After speaking with these people, I felt for the first time in real life comfortable with being seen by others as female because they did see me as female. They did refer to me as female, and that just amplified emotions, I guess, for lack of a better word. So on that day, I did decide, yes, I want to transition. I am going to do this, and I am now going to um, follow the steps to achieve that. So what happened after the event? I booked a doctor's appointment, and I went to speak to a doctor, and after speaking essentially the exact same conversation I'm having right now to the doctor, as well as a bit more in depth about childhood upbringing and other mental disorders in inverted commas, just mental issues, I guess, for the lack of a better word. Um, I got the doctor writ up a referral for me to the gender identity clinic in the Highlands of Scotland. So I am now in a big long waiting list. I do not know how long it is, but eventually I will hopefully be contacted and something else. Um, I can finally start doing something more official with a real life change of identity. Um, that's essentially most of everything I want to say in just speaking to the community or whoever the fuck needs to know about this, because most people in GD already know. Then, even if just one person finds out this about me, then I find that this entire thing is good for the channel, essentially. What does this mean for my channel? It does change one thing, and that is changing my name, changing my alias, changing my username. As you probably see here in the corner, my username is still Stir Fry. And I made this comment 2 weeks ago. I saw it as a half joke, but the more I thought about it, the more I actually liked the idea of mm, that username. I just sort of grown an attachment, as well as sort of losing an attachment to the name Stir Fry. It's a funny meme name, but it doesn't. I know it doesn't feel as elegant to me than Skylar Dash does, which is why when I upload this, if I upload this, my username will be changed to Skylar Dash, not only in GD itself, but my YouTube channel as well will become Skylar Dash. Uh, Everything else about my channel will be unchanged. I'm still eventually working through video ideas, series, different sort of videos with different formulas to try and diversify my content, to try and become a bit more unique and stand out from the crowd. Those are still planned, and I'm just lazy, but I am still working on these videos. They won't change. The road to Demon Grinders is not gonna change even when I get 500 demons. I'm still going to upload demons probably because free content, free views, Lamau. But the only thing that's changing is my username. I'm not really sure how to wrap this conversation up. Just a couple of people in the community I want to thank. In particular, to my OG big boys, Bally and Deathogs. You guys have been in my GD life for essentially up to 3 years now, close to 4. So I can only thank you so much for giving me so much support, friendship, laughs over the years in this shitfest of a community. You guys are incredible, and you've helped me so much, even if you never intended to. You never knew you did. I also want to thank everyone in the TMC, just because that's a project that just sort of happened because it happened, and now I know at least 16 other people who are going through very similar things as I am. I have people who can relate to me on a deeper level than people who are not identifying as transgender. You know what I mean? So thanks to everyone who decided it was a good idea to join a shitty collab, uh, because now we are a bit more connected. I want to thank Sertrax Avery for speaking to me and helping me out in my absolute lowest times. Even though I haven't spoken to you as much as I possibly could, I know that you are always willing to listen whenever I have issues, and also everyone in Avery's server as well. You guys are incredible. Just another incredible community to help me out as well. Thank you to Disbelief and Amoeba for being incredible validation lads. Honestly, both of you guys, whenever I'm feeling like absolute shit and completely invalidated, just speaking to either of you for 2 minutes removes any shadows of doubts in my mind, and I feel completely natural, completely myself again. So, thanks to you two, and also a host of other people in Stargrinders as well, for really making me feel valid and special and natural. Final thank you to Ordinary for being the person I fell in love with. That's essentially it. I am no longer Stir Fry. I am Skylar Dash, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. This was an incredibly messy, rambling shit show, but I feel like it is beneficial, if to no one in the community, at least to me, because now I've essentially officially spilt my mind for everyone online to see. So, I don't know. Thank you all.